Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff Mom Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio.
And welcome to another episode of the beloved Sex and the City Watch Along with Sminty. Yeah, I said it. It's beloved
like how
now.
You put beloved
I think
in
it's beloved now. We've gotten enough responses that they were like, keep it up.
Okay.
Except for one person was like, no, stop it. Like, but we're not gonna.
Okay.
But we're not gonna, because we love it. So it's coming straight from my couch in our living room, my living room, because we are together sipping on some delightful, what I have called blackberry mimosas. Cheers.
Cheers.
Because I don't have orange juice, but I do have blackberries. So I muddled it up with some lemon agave.
Ooh.
And then I added it at the bottom as a syrup. And then poured some champagne on it. Or Prosecco, specifically here. And then because I'm fancy, I added some blackberries and a pine berry, which I discovered is a thing, which is a pineapple strawberry mix.
Yes. Well, we're going to have to do some further research because we've tried them. We've expressed our thoughts about them together, but we don't really know what's going on. We don't know the deal.
What's the deal with the pine berries? Okay, yeah, that was my bad impression. You're welcome. Yes, I said this is going to link to a Savor episode, yeah?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope to look into this.
Yes, you should, because it's interesting. But anyway, so cheers.
Cheers.
To our segment for Happy Hour, where we watch Sex and the City, discuss, and then discuss more.
Yes, we do. And as always, drink responsibly if you're choosing to do so. And if you're unaware, if you're somehow coming in on this on the 9th episode, which I believe we're on the 9th episode of doing this, I have never seen Sex and the City, the TV show, the original TV show. So this is my first time. And we just have conversations about what comes up, reactions, thoughts, all kinds of things.
Yes, and experiences based on what we see on Sex and the City, which is fairly relatable. However, before we start, because we love to do this, Anney, can you give us a rundown of where we are?
Yes, I feel like I always say the same thing. But many conversations have been had about singlehood and marriage and dating 20-year-olds and the female body and being like, what's the word for that? When someone's trying to hide your relationship, they're trying to hide you.
It said secret sex was the title.
Secret sex. We've been introduced to the big love interest for Carrie. Skipper, the kind of love interest for Miranda, has shown up a few times and really did the last girl he was with dirty, in my opinion. And and we've had a lot of conversations around anal sex and oral sex and consent discussions, healthy discussions around it.
Yeah, we've got some good conversations. And as per usual, at the beginning, I tell Anney the title. I think you're going to have a hard time with this one.
Okay.
And then we predict to see if she knows what this episode is about. And then I give her points based on no system that I just create.
Perfect.
Yes. Here we go. So the title of this one is The Turtle and the Hare.
Okay. So I think that this one would be a sort of a strategy question on, is it better to play hard to get and wait for the relationship and for the viewpoint of the male, and I'm assuming this very heteronormative cis relationship, or should you just go for it? If you want it, just go for it. Or do you strategize and plan it out, go slow?
Interesting.
That sounds like I got 0 points.
This. Okay, so we are going to start, and we'll see. Episode 9, The Turtle and the Hare. Here we go.
Was I the only one who remembered that Brooke once described this man as more boring than exposed brick?
Oh.
Yes. So,
harsh.
Yes, more boring than exposed brick. So we're at this popular girl's wedding, and it's a big affair. Oh, this is what, I've talked about this line before, by the way, we're about to come up on.
Okay.
But she is married to a not so typical handsome New York guy. He's kind of a bald, goofy looking guy.
I guess seems boring.
We look like the witches of Eastwick.
The Witches of Eastwick. That was the line I was talking about. So we have the 4 ladies here, all dressed in black with amazing feathers in her hair.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I wore black to a wedding once, and I got a lot of comments like, "Are you going to a funeral? Are you?"
Really?
But then they thought I was a bartender, and I got paid money, so that was something.
Typically, I always wear black.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the problem.
I think it works either way.
This dude is titled The Turtle.
No, I think I meant that too.
Good investments, bad breath. Who is hitting on Samantha, and she runs away.
Your friend is gorgeous. What do I have to do to get to know her better?
Now, that's a weird thing, too, is I've been to weddings where I've been hit on. I guess it puts people in the mood, like I gotta find somebody.
Maybe. I don't know if have I been hit on? But the thing is, I've gone to weddings with friends who I pretty much knew the entirety of the crew.
Right.
It's always better to marry someone who loves you more than you love them.
Okay, it's always better to marry someone who loves you more than you love them. So, of course, Carrie must put that in her article.
Yeah.
Again, I wonder if she got permission. Although I feel the same way when I talk about my friends. They're like, what the hell are you doing?
I think about that all the time, too.
Question. Why do people get married if they're not in love?
We got some big.
I don't know.
Why do people get married if they're not in love, Anney?
Political asylum?
Companionship.
Why did you get married?
I think you feel pressure, a time pressure. Like, I guess I'm not going to do any better.
Sweet.
Money, financially, I think I could see.
Yeah, now you're just a fool.
I think it can be kind of a economical judgment call.
Right.
Like, yeah.
I will say, so, like, I've been in a relationship for a little while. And at this age, at 40, 41, 45, I don't know. I do question, like, should I want to be married? And I know I've talked about this before and, like, feeling like I should. But at the same time, there's no desire in me to want to be married. And I feel like if I feel this way at 41, why would I feel any differently later?
Right.
So there's like a lot of conversation in my head of like, why do we do it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I told this story before, but I wanted to get married just for my like parents. And I was literally thinking, I'll just settle. What's wrong with settling? And then that makes me very sad now that I was convinced I have to do it by this age. But also, like, that sucks for the other person. Like,
right.
That's such a terrible, like, I'll just settle.
Because when you finally figure out, oh, I didn't want to be married. Oh, I don't have to be married. And then it becomes a whole thing. Because let's be honest, I definitely have family in my life who got married really young, thinking that's what they wanted, had the fantasy wedding. And then 5 to 10 years later, they're like, what the hell did I do?
Yeah.
We're completely different people. Which is the thing. It's like, if you can't grow together, you're going to grow apart, obviously. And or you're going to compromise.
Yeah.
And it's just a question about how much you're willing to compromise. Are you growing together or are you just tired and it's over? Or, you know, there's, of course, this is putting this in a very, like, normative way in that we know there's bigger pictures and bigger, like, we're not going to go into all that, but you need to get out. You need to get out. It's toxic.
A vibrator doesn't send you flowers the next day, and you cannot take a vibrator home
this
to
is
meet
it.
your mother.
This is it.
Well,
So I'm so sorry, y'all. I got excited because the women are at the table discussing about marriage and what it's building up to, and Miranda is talking about her vibrator and how much she loves her vibrator, and talking about having orgasms.
Yeah.
Woo! Here we go. Oh, I'm so excited for this episode.
the rabbit.
$92?
Oh.
Please,
and we have the
think about the money we
introduction
spend on
of
shoes.
the rabbit,
Let's
which,
not
my
intentionally
gosh, y'all, I bought into this too. And I think I was like
fantastic.
3 or 4 or 5 years late into this episode. And I was like, does the rabbit exist still? And y'all, it does. And it's expensive.
Yeah, they got a lot of publicity off of this.
Pink for girls.
It squeaks. Oh my God, I didn't realize the vibrator squeaked.
I like how Charlotte got so excited. She's like, oh, it's pink for girls.
So cute. Back at the Briar Patch. Wow.
Some of them can look quite intense.
I don't think I would have been ready for that. had I been able to afford it.
I will never forget when I bought my first one, and that guy that I bought it from like showed it to me to make see, it works, and I like my face went nuclear red. I was so embarrassed.
Someone gave me my first one because I was so embarrassed, and then I started ordering them online. Best way to go for me.
You know, for longer life.
Well, with breath like that, you're going to live a very long life. Alone.
I killed the last woman who talked to me like that.
That is not funny.
No.
So can we talk about that? So she found him cute after he attempted a joke. And the joke is, I killed the last woman that talked to me like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what?
I mean, if we were watching a different show, he could be a serial killer.
Anney made me watch Fresh last night, y'all. That's where she's coming in from, I think.
I love it.
He's a cute little fixer-upper.
Sweetheart, he's a man, not a brownstone.
Honey, when I'm through with him, he'll be Gracie Mansion.
Samantha and the turtle?
So Samantha is going to make up the turtle. Have you ever taken a man or taken a partner in general and tried to fix them like that? Aesthetically?
Aesthetically, no. But I've definitely wished for some things to be different and maybe made some comments. But no, you know. I think I was lucky that I had enough good friends who were like, don't go into a relationship trying to fix somebody.
Right. As a social worker, I don't abide by that. But, okay. No, I'm just playing.
Just as I had reached the moment of no thought.
I think I broke my vagina. Oh, sorry, my pointed arm. Metaphorically, I mean.
She just said she broke her vagina with the rabbit. And they're stretching, and I love that Carrie's like, I'm sorry, am I stretching too hard? Am I stretching you too hard?
And now she's like, oh, I'll never have sex with a man. I've definitely made a boyfriend be like, I think your vibrator. I think he was a little nervous about my vibrator. Like, yeah, it's got batteries, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've had some who get nervous, but I've had partners who are like, let's add it. And I'm like, oh, you're that confident. Let's go. Let's go.
I have hurt myself masturbating before.
I believe this.
I
believe this for so many reasons. And we're not going to talk about the many reasons, but...
Maybe you should propose to me and we'll all live happily ever after.
You really do want it all.
I don't know. Maybe nobody gets it all.
Oh, so now they're trying to do a conversation. So Stanford's rich grandmother gives people money when they get married. Which I see, this is a whole conversation I want to come back to, because since we are not necessarily about marriage, and how many people have I given presents to their wedding, to their marriage, spent money on all these things, and I'm not going to get that. I'm a little bitter about this.
We can have you a Samantha ceremony.
To be fair, if I do buy a house, which I'm thinking about, if we're having a housewarming, y'all bringing me presents.
I like how you're like threatening me.
Yeah, no, I'm threatening everyone.
Listeners, watch out.
Not the listeners, because I love y'all too much. Y'all give me enough. To my friends that I know personally and have given gifts to, they best be bringing some good stuff.
This feels very pointed.
It does.
All right.
And none of my friends listen to this.
I'll pass on the message. Samantha.
But in that, they're scheming now, Stanford and Carrie, and pretending to be married, because Big is saying that he's never wants to get married again because he's gotten through a really rocky divorce.
Oh, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to cancel. Yeah, I'm totally wiped out.
Wiped out. That was Charlotte speak for, I'm spending the night with my vibrator.
Have you canceled plans for masturbating?
No, but I've definitely I've had it on my schedule in my head. I'm going to do it this time, but I've never canceled plans.
I might do it right before and be a little late. So here we go. We have an intervention trying to find the vibrator like it's drugs.
Charlotte, you hid the rabbit behind a stuffed rabbit?
Hid the rabbit behind a stuffed rabbit. But they're handling it. They're handling it. All right, I know I'm screaming. I'm so sorry. Why would you touch someone else's sex toy?
I would not.
Ever.
I would not. No. Yep.
And they are so blasé in touching it. And I know this is supposed to be TV, but literally, even if she did clean it, I would still not want to touch it.
No. And also there's like a way, if you have to touch it, there's a way you could touch it
Gloves.
that's less worse.
Gloves.
Yeah. Gloves.
Put it in the bag. I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
Also, if she wants to cancel plans for the vibrator, let her.
Yeah, especially she's in early days. Like eventually, you know.
You don't like anything she chooses. Wanting to choose to be married, like being focused so harshly on that, and canceling plans for a vibrator. Let her.
Let her. Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that.
Oh, wow. Is this you?
Not a bad-looking girl, don't you think?
I love that. So the grandmother is talking about giving up her career, who she knew Coco Chanel got all these suits for children. And that's fine if she's happy for that.
I think it's okay to settle if you're both on the same page of settling.
Right.
Like if you're happy with that, then yeah. It just sounds so negative, settling.
Right, it does. And that's the thing is like, again, what is the compromise level to you? My parents, I don't think they settled. They got pushed pretty quickly and they found happiness in that. And I think they truly are so happy. And my mother and my father love each other dearly. They really have a standard of marriage that I don't understand. It's not something I want, but they are truly happy. And it's such a different level though. Like my mother wanted all these big things, but she chose this instead. So it's definitely a different thing. And then like here, they're trying to settle for each other to get money. Yeah. And the grandmother knows she calls him, I'm not saying this, a fruit. And yes, is it derogatory? Hell yeah, it is. But it's interesting like how that kind of, at least she acknowledges it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And still loves him.
Yeah.
Look, I do want to get married someday. I mean, maybe not today, but I don't want to. I can't date somebody that won't. You know, what's the point?
So that's the other big question here. Is dating bad if there's not an end game?
Right. That's another conversation. Again, if you're on the same page, then I don't think that's a problem. And even sometimes, like, because that happened in my last relationship where we both were on the same page at first and then it changed.
Right.
And that's fine. As long as you're open about it.
Right.
It's strange because we've watched so many like romance and Disney movies where you want everybody to be the happiest they can be and find that person, find their one true love.
At 16.
Yes. Oh, jeez, yes. So it's weird to say like that there isn't that one thing you should be fighting for, that settling should be off the table, but the reality is, I don't know how realistic that is for a lot of us.
Right. Well, and that's the other part is like, I'm talking about the fact that my relationship, we've talked repeatedly. I'm like, I don't want this. Could we change our minds? Absolutely. Do we hold to the point that we can't and have the right to change our minds? Absolutely. But like the fact that I had to talk to him, because we've been together for a few years now. And as I hit 40, I was like, I really don't want children. So you need to tell me now if that's what you want. Because if that's what you want, that's beautiful. You're going to have to go find someone else. Yeah. If I do want children, I want to adopt them. And then we've had to have that conversation too of like, do you feel comfortable with this, blah, blah, blah. And trying to make it very real. Because at one point in time, oh my God, I think like his parents brought up something. And I was like, oh. Yeah. Nope, not happening. Not happening. And there's nothing in my life. And as one of our listeners sent an email after I had talked about, you know, whether or not I was unsure, they were like, don't. Yeah. If you're not sure, don't. It wreaks havoc on your body. It's really painful. So if that's not worth it to you, don't do it. I'm like, thank you. That is such a realistic comment. Like, that's the big thing. It's like, people who have children, that's a beautiful thing. I love that for you. And I love other people's children. I really do. I've taken care of them. I was a nanny. I was a defects worker, child abuse investigator. So I love children. But for me, I'm good without it. And so her comment was like, look, these are the realities of it. And do I love my kids? Yes. Would I do some things different? Maybe. And you just need to think about that. I'm like, thank you. that is the realistic thing. Is like, even if you do have children, you can still say it was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. And for those who can't have children, you know, that's a whole different conversation in itself. So please know that is a beautiful thing. And I really understand why people go through so many things. We talked about that with the surrogacy and all of that, and how it can be beautiful. We had another listener who is a surrogate for parents, and how much she loves doing that because of the joy for the parents. And I've seen that a lot. But like, yeah, these are the choices, these are the conversations I have to be like, hey, for me, you're going to have to figure this out for yourself. If this is not what this is, do we waste our emotions and time on this?
Yeah.
Is this great for now? Yes. But are you going to be better later on? I don't want that for you or for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that for women, a lot of those things have been romanticized, like motherhood has, and the perfect mother. We've talked about that a million times, but like also this finding your one true person, which again, I've seen relationships that are beautiful and they're so happy, and I love that. And I guess for me as an asexual person, like my last long-term relationship, I was happy and we kind of settled.
Right.
But I was happy. Like it was like having a good friend around, do stuff with all the time. But he wasn't happy after a couple of years, and I'm not bitter about it. I thought we had a great time together, but it's just one of those things where, again, you've got to really have those conversations and be on the same page. So, yeah, for me, like, it's complicated. I know people are probably going to get mad, but like, because I don't think you should settle unless that's something you're okay with. And I know that sounds weird.
But that's the thing, is like, we don't know the inside of a relationship. And we know that people who've been able to have relationship where it transitions. So, and it's changed. I know that when gay couples who weren't out, who got married because whatever societal pressure, but was able to remain in that marriage for their children, but still have an open marriage to keep that family, and they're happy with that, that's amazing. Yeah. That's an amazing level of communication that I'm like, that is phenomenal. Like, those in polyamorous relationships, the level of communication and openness that they have to have in order to be able to really just lay it out is beautiful. So when it works, it's like, yeah, damn, that's impressive. I need to learn more about this, because like, I think the biggest conversation that we've always had is like communicating, whether it's consent, whether it's about children, whether it's about marriage, whether it's about relationships, it's not non-relationships. Like, that's that level. But all of that to say is like, there are amazing things that we don't see that wouldn't be the fantasy level. And for some may be settling, but for them it's not. Whether it is just companionship. Like, we've been together for so long and we love each other's company. We're not romantically linked. We talked about that as the platonic marriage. And like, that's amazing. I'm like, maybe that's the thing that should be with everyone. Like,
yeah. You know what? I think you're right. I think settling is the wrong. We should have another word.
We say that in that negative term, but in actuality, what that looks like for us on the outside is completely different from the inside.
Right. I think we need to come up with there needs to be another word for what we're talking about. Because there is like the level of, I have to get married, society is telling me I have to get married, I'm just going to do this.
Right.
That's no good. But I think there are other ways relationships can look outside of what we see in media all the time that we might, yes, on the outside think is settling, but to the people in the relationship is not settled.
I mean, it could have been that Stanford and Carrie decided to have a marriage, take the money, and then live their life separately but together, and they may have been happy. Yeah. That's okay. I don't see why that's wrong if they're happy and everybody outside of them are happy. Yeah.
As long as they communicated and they're living.
And they communicate with other partners outside of them, so we have informed consent. I mean, that's that level.
Yeah.
Why can't it be? And also, everybody is of an age, and again, consent.
Consent.
I don't think I said that in our consent episode when I was like, be happy, do you. But like, again, being underage is not consent. They cannot consent.
Right. Okay. Well, what is my score?
You got a 0, baby. 0, 0, 0, 0.
That's my first 0.
I mean, but you knew it was gonna be a 0 because even though the settling bit, the getting married thing, kind of was an aspect, but it wasn't necessarily that.
Yeah, that was way off.
That wasn't it. Sorry, I'm sorry. But the turtle was a specific dude who they just needed a term, so they named him Turtle essentially because the hair was obviously the vibrator.
Yeah. Oh, I got you. Okay, that's clever. That's clever.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'll accept it.
All right, let's go for round 10. Episode 10. All right.
Yes.
I have hopes for you. But cheers to y'all.
Cheers.
And please continue to sending us messages, giving us your point of view, because y'all have given us some facts about the show that we didn't know. Y'all have given us some insight that I didn't understand. So we need more of that because we love this and we love to hear from y'all. And yes, we are wanting to do some little bit of audience participation.
Yeah. Come hang out with us and watch it. It's going to be great. So look out for updates about that, announcements about that. And as always, yes, we would love to hear from you. You can email us at stuffmediamomstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can find us on Twitter at momstuffpodcast or on Instagram at Stuff I Never Told You. Thanks as always to our super producer, Christina.
Oh, and she'll be on with us soon.
Oh, yes, Christina, watch out. And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.